Hello everyone, welcome to DEEPSIGHT. Today we continue the 22nd stop of the ancient civilization journey, the Mongol Empire, which once spanned Asia and Europe and created the most vast empire in world history. Because it involves a lot of space, we will divide it into several videos to give you a detailed introduction. In this issue, we will focus on the origin of Mongolia. I believe that most people who have read history know about the Yuan dynasty, but this was the name given to it by later generations. In that era, his real country name was actually more powerful, called Dayuan. Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan who longed for Sinicization, when the Yuan dynasty was established in Beijing in 1271, he adopted the country name from Confucian classics. He selected the sentence, Zhizai Kuan Yuan, all living things are in harmony with heaven from the Qian Kuan Gua in the Book of Changes, and extracted the word Yuan is missing, which means the first of great harmony. In contrast, the name of the Ming dynasty is the next sentence of Dezai Qian Yuan in the Book of Changes, the beginning of the Ming dynasty, riding on 6 dragons to control heaven. Both of these country names are defined in words, which is the first case in Chinese history that cultural connotations are used to name country names. Of the 2 emperors who spent half their lives in the military, one grew up in the desert grassland, and the other was born in poor peasant families. They all put the mark of civilization on their dynasties. In addition to this Chinese dynasty name, Kublai Khan's Mongolian name is Yek Mongol Ulus, which is translated in Latin letters, Yek Mongol Ulus, which means Great Mongolia. So Kublai Khan's meaning at the time it is the Great Yuan. That is the main body of the Great Mongol Kingdom, and the Emperor of the Great Yuan is naturally the Great Khan of the Great Mongol Kingdom, and the other Khanates are the princes from all directions who should be vassal to the north. Let us first take a look at the origin and race of the Mongols. Geographically speaking, Mongolia originated from the Mongolian Plateau area located north of the Inshan Mountains, west of the Greater Shingan Mountains, in the Altai Mountains and bordering southern Siberia in the north. There are countless nomadic peoples living in tribal groups here. Most of them are known for their strength, and they are constantly rising and disappearing. Since nomadic peoples basically have no written language, historical records about their ancestors can only be passed down orally from generation to generation. To continue, after thousands of years of integration between these ethnic groups, it is very difficult to talk clearly about the relationship between each ethnic group. Today, their genetic makeup can only be verified through highly developed DNA. Generally speaking, the ethnic groups in the history of the Mongolian Plateau are mainly composed of 2 major language families, Donghu and Turkic. Turks speak Turkic language. Regarding Turks, you can also refer to our introduction to the Ottoman Empire in the previous issue. They originated in the central mountains of the Mongolian Plateau. Because the north is too cold, they mainly migrated to the east, west, and south to live a nomadic life. They were a powerful nation for a long time in history. Donghu is not a clan name, but a title. Because the Xiongnu were called Hu people, the Central Plains people called the tribes living east of the Xiongnu Eastern Hu. Its origin may be inferred from the Greater Shingan Mountains, where they learned to domesticate livestock and herd after making a living by hunting in the early days and then migrated into the Mongolian grasslands to become nomadic people. Donghu includes many tribes. The language spoken in Donghu also belongs to the Mongolian branch of the Altai or Ceylon language family. The pronunciation has a strong E sound, which is obviously different from the Sino-Tibetan language. There is a difference between the Huns and the Donghu people. Since the Huns disappeared without a trace from historical records around the world in the 5th century AD, those who remained in the Central Plains were basically eliminated in the past few hundred years. They were completely Chinese, so their ancestors and other aspects have become unsolved archaeological mysteries. We can't even know their language and race. We can only make inferences and analyses through some ancient records. One theory is that the language of the ancient Huns may belong to the Sino-Tibetan language family and is similar to ancient Chinese. For example, the historical records of Han Dynasty records that Zhang Qian was detained by the Huns on his way to the western regions, but Zhang Qian quickly learned the Xiongnu language. And Suwu also spoke the Xiongnu language when he was detained by the Huns. This shows that the difference between Xiongnu and Chinese is not very big, and it is likely to belong to a certain language in Sino-Tibetan. Similarly, the Xiongnu and the Han Dynasty have always had a tradition of making peace, and the well-known Zhao Jiuan's departure from the fortress is one of them. So the royal family of the Xiongnu should also have Han ancestry. There is no record in history of the East Hu or Turks marrying the Han or even the Tang royal family. According to another theory, Northern history, Gaoche biography records that Gaoche were a people who lived near Lake Baikal in the Han dynasty and were enslaved by the Huns. They were close relatives of the Turks and the ancestors of the Uyghurs. Their language was similar to that of the Huns, but sometimes there were small differences, or Hunnic may also be biased towards the Turkic language family. Let's go back and talk about Mongolia. Before the rise of the Mongols, the Mongolian grassland was ruled by the Xiongnu, Xianbei, Rouran, and Turks. The Tang dynasty also established the Anbei Protectorate here. The earliest record of Donghu can be found in Book of Izhou, Donghu Huangzhu Shanrong Rongshu. In 206 BC, Donghu was defeated by Xiongnu's Madan Chanyu. Some people became slaves of the Xiongnu, while others gathered in Wuhuan Mountain and Xianbei Mountain, thus forming the Wuhuan and Xianbei people. After the northern Huns moved westward, Xianbei became the overlord of the north. During the Wei, Jin, southern and northern dynasties in China, Xianbei was divided into 3 tribes. One was the Duan tribe, Murong tribe, Yuan tribe, etc. in the east. The other was the Tuoba tribe in the middle, and the third was the western tribe of Tiahan. The powerful Rouran, Khitan, Mongolia, etc. in later generations are all branches of Xianbei. The earliest historical records of the Mongols can be traced back to the Tang dynasty. At that time, they were called Mingwu Shirwei, a tribe of the Xianbei people, meaning the people who were the fusion of Mongols, Tatars, and Shirwei. Shirwei Wei is a general name for the ethnic group in northeast China and ancient China. They lived between today's Greater Xing'an Mountains and Lesser Xing'an Mountains, distributed on both sides of the middle and upper reaches of Heilongjiang River and the Nunjiang River Basin. In the 11th century AD, the steppe tribes gradually formed an alliance headed by Tatar. Therefore, Tatar, or Tatar, once became the general name for all tribes in the Mongolian steppe. During the Song, Ao and Jin dynasties, the Mongolian tribe in Mabe was called Black Tatars, and the Mongolian tribe in Monan was called White Tatars. In 1206, Temüjin, the leader of the Chiyan tribe of the steppe tribe, proclaimed himself Khan on the banks of the Hunan River in Mongolia and was named Genghis Khan. He continued to launch new wars, gradually annexing Jin, Xixia, Shiliao, Khwarezm, Dali, and Tubo, and established the Great Mongolian Kingdom. From then on, Mongolia became the name of the nation. To sum up, the Mongols are a nation belonging to the Mongoloid race. Their ancestors are mainly nomadic tribes living on the Mongolian plateau, such as the Mongols, Shirwei, Tatar, Naiman, etc. These tribes have been influenced and ruled by different ethnic groups such as the Khitan, Jurchen, and Han people in history, but they have also maintained their own independence and characteristics. Therefore, from an archaeological perspective, Donghu in the Xiongnu era, and Xianbei and Rouran in the post-Xiongnu era all have close inheritance ties with the Mongolian people. Mongolia is a typical tribe confederation nation, and its core elements are tribes formed by clans and political ties compiled by blood relationships. According to genetic research, the Mongolian paternal Y chromosome mainly belongs to 2 haplogroups, C2 and O3, which shows that they have a close genetic relationship with other East Asian ethnic groups. But they also have some genes from West Asia and Europe. The appearance characteristics of Mongolians are yellow skin, black hair, black eyes, small eyes, upturned eye corners, flat noses, wide cheeks, protruding mandibles, short stature, and strong bodies. This shape is very adaptable to the plateau and cold climate. Next, let's take a look at the Mongolian language and writing. The language of the Mongols belongs to the Mongolian language family of the Altaic language family and has a certain affinity with the Turkic language family and the Tungus language family. There are many dialects of Mongolian, the most important of which is Middle Mongolian, which was the official language used during Genghis Khan and the Yuan dynasty. It is the predecessor of modern Mongolian. The grammatical structure of medieval Mongolian is relatively simple, mainly centered on verbs, with suffixes used to express tense, voice, person, number, and other grammatical functions. Nouns and adjectives also have suffixes to express case and number. The vocabulary of Middle Mongolian mainly reflects the content of nomadic life, such as livestock, grassland, war, etc. There are also some loanwords from other languages such as Chinese, Turkic, and Persian. Mongolian writing has many forms, the earliest of which is Mongolian, which is the traditional Mongolian. It was created by Genghis Khan's minister Taishur Basiba based on the Oghuz Turkic script. It is a left-to-right script. Vertical syllabic text is composed of vowels and consonants. Each letter has 3 forms, which are used at the beginning, middle, and end of the word. Mongolian writing tools are brushes and ink, and writing materials are paper or sheepskin. The main purpose of Mongolian is to record history, law, religion, literature, and other aspects, such as Secret History of Mongolia, Yuan Dynasty Code, Diamond Sutra, Mongolian Language Dictionary, etc. In addition to Mongolian, Mongolians have also used other scripts, such as Uyghur, Tibetan, Arabic, Persian, Cyrillic, etc. These scripts are mainly to adapt to the needs of different regions and different religions. For people who are not familiar with Asian history, Mongoloid and Sino-Tibetan races are often confused. Although there are some similarities between the Mongoloid race and the Sino-Tibetan race, there are also obvious differences. Let's explore it. Language and script. The Mongolian race uses Mongolian, which belongs to the Altaic language family originating from the Altai Mountains. It has a common ancestor with the Turkic and Tungusic languages. Mongolian is a writing system with a rich history. The Han people of the Sino-Tibetan race use Chinese characters and belong to the Sino-Tibetan language family. This is an ideographic system that has evolved over time. Chinese characters have a long history and cultural tradition in China. Culture and history. The Mongol race mainly focuses on warfare and nomadic herding, and grassland culture is its unique symbol. The Mongols established a powerful Mongol Empire in history. The Han people among the Sino-Tibetan race are based on farming. After thousands of years of farming culture, they have formed a rich civilization tradition. Han culture includes poetry, painting, music, philosophy, etc. The Tibetan people are part nomadic and part farming. Physical characteristics. The characteristics of Mongoloid include flat face, flat nose, protruding cheekbones, narrow eyes, black pupils, thick black hair, brown skin, and short stature. The physical characteristics of the Han people vary depending on the region and historical background, but overall there are some commonalities, such as yellow skin, black hair, etc. The two also have similarities. For example, they both belong to the yellow race and have a common ancestor. Some Han people have common ancestors with the Mongols. The difference. The Mongoloid race is mainly distributed in the Mongolian Plateau, Northeast Asia, and Central Asia. The Sino-Tibetan race is mainly distributed in China, India, Nepal, Bhutan, southern Tibet, and other places. This is what we are covering in this issue. We will continue to tell you about the rise and fall of the powerful Mongol Empire and the reasons behind it in the next episode. You are welcome to leave a message and subscribe, communicate and discuss together, learn and progress together, pursue the truth of history, and foresee a bright future. Thank you for watching. See you next time.